Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your boy, Al. We're coming back for the next race of the P0 season, Season 7. We're here in Canada. My computer's making noises. My Xbox controller is not plugged in. I am very prepared. But we're here. Why are you making noises? Stop making noises. I've got my beer, which I've already opened. I've been yapping away to pace in the V-carb during practice. And we're 16 drivers, which means that we are on full qualifying. Q1, 2, and 3 means that one driver will be knocked out in Q1, unfortunately. As the rule is, if we have 15 drivers or less, we do a short quali, and if we have 16 or more, we do a full quali, as you may be aware. And of course, we've had such good attendance this season, we've been doing full quali every single race, which is fab. I'm just having a quick check here, make sure all my notifications are clear. There we go. Right, got to keep one eye on the Discord in case things go tits up. So, Canada. Always a chance of rain here in the great North American, I don't know what I'm saying. Always a chance of rain in Canada. So we will see how it goes. Obviously, I will be able to see, as we go through the qualifying sessions, the chance of rain by judging the clouds and everything. I won't have the full sort of weather forecast, if you will. Only the drivers have that, so I'll find out at the same time as you. 35 lap race, I think it is. Now, last season was quite a chaotic race. It was a dry, wet. I think it was dry into, wet into. I think it was in the end. It was like a 2 or 3 stop race that led with Chiv winning. I think it was his only race win of the season. So hopefully we get a little bit of chaos there. And look at that, absolute crystal clear skies here in Canada at the moment. So very high tyre wear in this track. 2-stop is potentially viable. It's a fairly short pit lane, actually. Your rears will get absolutely lit up. You tend to see a swing of sort of 2 different driver preferences in here. You see people who run very aggressive aero to sort of help with tyre life a bit and sort of run through the sort of corner exits a bit. And then you have people who run very low rear wing to help them on the straights a little bit, but also it comes at the risk of tyre slippage as well. If you're kicking out the rear of your car too much, then you're going to scrape your tires a bit more. I'm going to say that's Chubby Slug leading us out. Let's get the track back on as a good way to keep an eye on things. And we always like to say that we followed the first car out. I think a majority... Yeah, so we're going to see quite a few drivers, I think, go out on the medium tires as it stands. I'm going to just get rid of this a second as we watch Chubby Slug line up to do a banker lap. As we said, only one driver gets knocked out in Q1. Very unlucky. We'll see who the unlucky driver is. So drivers just want to go around, set a semi-competitive, semi-decent lap time. Make sure they're not going to get put themselves at any risk, and keep it within the white lines. I expect the finishing order of this to be an absolute nightmare. This is a track that is rife, absolutely rife for time penalties. I think there's only going to be 1 or 2 drivers at most who don't get time penalties, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it all runs out. It's a very short lap. It's only about a 1 minute 10, a 1 minute 11 race lap time. I'm expecting... I don't know what I want to say. I want to say probably 108s, 109s for the qualifying. I'm not sure. But we're going to watch Chubby Slug as he goes through the final chicane. Wall of Champions on the exit there, which will surely claim at least 1 victim or so. As we see Chubby Slug run DRS open all the way down into T1. Can invalidate on the inside there. It's this kind of slow. It's very understeer this corner here. You want to get on throttle as soon as you can, but it's so difficult to get the tyres cooperating. Go down to what I like to call the Vettel chicane. Brilliant corner. That's one of my favourite on the calendar. This downhill with grass on the inside as he moves to the next chicane. This is a track of only chicanes. Chubby Slug using a lot of the track there to get himself turned in. Go into the first main DRS zone after you cross the finish line here. Potential overtaking opportunity down into the final chicane. Well, the second to last chicane, I should say. You can cut a lot of the corner on the inside, but you can also hit the wall there. The hairpin here, it is critical to get an important exit on the hairpin here. Take a late apex, get on throttle as soon as you get off the curb. You can use a bit of the curb on the left here because it's kind of not really straight. You put your DRS on for the first time here, and that DRS detection zone is the same for the one after the final chicane. So you get 2 doses of DRS from one DRS detection zone. This is the easiest place to invalidate, as champions like navigates the wall of champions and hits the wall of champions for good measure. Doesn't invalidate, but will cross the line, and sets a 1:11.343, only to be by Arwin on the medium tyres with a 1:10.4, Tesco with a 1:10.5 on the mediums as well. Kev, I think, is just finishing his lap here. We'll keep an eye on him. Let's see, Mr. CD's out, Dale is out, FatBoySim is out, Chiv, Devereaux, Skarma, Musty, and Bosch are all out as well. I want to keep an eye on, let's have a look. That is Devereaux, who sets a 1:10. 7 there. Dale also sets a 1:10.7. Kev sets a 1:10.8. I'm going to go on board and look at what Mr. CD is doing. We're going to see Bosch, I think, cross the line there in a minute. And then that is going to be the Ferrari of FatBoySim, actually. So Bosch crosses the line there, sets a 1:13.8. Had a mistake in there somewhere. FatBoySim is going to cross the line. I think Musty, that is ahead of Mr. CD here. So we'll see what he can do. So it's yellow flag in Sector 3. I think that's Chubbs looking the other way. FatBoySim sets a 1:10.0. Mr. CD crosses the line, sets a 1:11.3. Puts him ahead of Bosch for the moment. Musty there, I kind of want to go on board and see if he's starting his lap. I think he is just going to start his lap there. Yellow flag, I think that's just someone getting out of the way. As we watch Musty as he goes. So we're sticking the onboard cam here. As we look up and down the grid. Anyone else still yet set a time? I think that is Skarma, who is out at the moment. Is Skarma currently on a lap? Let's have a quick check on him. Skarma has it validated. So Skarma will have to go again. That's Chiv, who said a 1:10.4 there. Excuse me, there was another car on track. But I'm going to go back on board with Musty and see what the Hungarian driver can do. Rob and Baz are both out at the moment. They are going to go out and set their first lap time now. Yellow flags here as people just getting out of the way. I'm going to go on this cam here. Ferrari keeping out of the way of the Alpine driver. Let's see if he can put himself above his teammate. Bosch is in the pits at the moment, just coming. He is currently the driver at risk. Let's see how Musty navigates the chicane here. Is he going to keep it clean? He does indeed. Does not hit the wall either. Musty Miklo here crosses the line and sets a 1:10.1, fastest of the soft tyre runners so far. FatBoySim has retired from the session. I hope that was in the pits anyway. I think that was in the pits. I think he's pretty confident that no one's going to beat that time. I didn't see him go all the way into the pits, so I'm hoping he hasn't binned it on pit entry. Probably hasn't. Tesco improves to a 1:10.0, puts himself 1/100th ahead of FatBoySim, still going around on those medium tyres. Maybe just getting a bit of a gist for the track. Rob there on the bottom of your screen is going to be starting his lap in a minute along with Baz, but we're staying on board with Skarma. Big snap there. I'm going to take the camera off there because that was brilliant, seeing that car lean out towards the curb. As we said, yeah, track limits is going to be a really big contributing factor here. I think it's really going to play into it in Q3 as well. Having a quick look here. Yeah, I'm just checking the chat. That's fine. As we watch Skarma go on board, I was looking at it on my phone there. Hopefully no issues for the VCAB driver who invalidated on his flying lap. Having a look, Pace and Luke are still the drivers yet to go. I think Dale is still out there. Kev is still out there. Chubby Song is still out there. They're just running around on those tyres at the moment. Maybe just trying to get a bit of familiarization with the track. Maybe trying to improve. As we see Skarma here, let's see what time he does as he crosses the line, dumps whatever battery he has left, and puts it P9. It's a 1:10.8 from Skarma. Good enough so far. So Bosch, the one at risk at the moment, as we say. Rob is going to be the one to watch here. We're going to keep on board with him as he goes through, navigates his way through the final chicane. Again, really easy to invalidate, as we said, kept it within the lines. Rob crosses the line. This is a 1:10.0 on the soft tyres, puts him as the quickest soft tyre runner. Baz now crosses the line with a 1:10.9 on the softs as well. So Bosch has come out on the medium tyre. So Bosch, we said he's about 2.5 seconds off the pace there on his first run. So we think he had a mistake, which would put Mr. CD at risk. 4/10 off of Chubby Slug, who's in the pits there. So Mr. CD probably needs to find a bit of improvement as well. Bosch now is going to be the one to... I see yellow flag there. I think that was just Skarma getting out of the way on the bottom of my screen. Yeah. So Chiv is retired. He thinks he's done enough with the 1:10. 10 minutes left of the session. We'll go on board with Bosch here on the medium tire, see if he can improve on his time at all to get himself out of the risk of elimination. So, as we say, DRS on, hurling his way down the pit straight, navigates the first three-corner complex. It's just such a tricky corner to do. I tell you what, Bosch did that pretty well there. Yellow flag, as that is the Alpine getting out of the way there. A little bit of touch in the grass there from Bosch, but keeping it well away from the wall there, trying to keep it all nice and sensible. As he pulls his way through the second chicane there. Oh, he touches the wall there. That would have probably taken a bit of life out of his rear left tyre. Doesn't invalidate, keeps it all pointing in one direction, but I think it's going to be a very interesting race here to see how drivers can navigate their way through. It's almost a war of attrition, isn't it? Racing around tracks like this. We've just come out of Singapore as well, which is, you know, another track with a lot of very close walls. As we see Bosch go through the final hairpin here, he's going to have his DRS on, as he's just got one more complex of corners to go, the infamous Wall of Champions chicane. You know, we spoke about drivers who very well may end up in that wall this session. Chubby Slug was actually our first driver to do it, as we see Bosch cross the line here on the medium tyres, and he improves to P13. There's a 1:10.9. Still behind Chubby Slug, puts Mr. Seedy at risk. Mr. Seedy, who's actually just going to start his lap time now, so we'll see if he can improve. We'll actually go on the on board, and you can hear this Alpine sing. I tell you what, Mr. Seedy right at the death there. It's so easy to invalidate on that corner, unfortunately. Very unfortunate for him. So, Mr. Seedy will recharge and go again. I think he's got the fuel to do so. He's also got the time. So, let's have a look. Who else is going around? I think that is Kev, who is just starting. So, we'll go on board with Kev instead. And you can hear the Mercedes sing. Okay, appeared to be getting some technical difficulties there with Kev, and also invalidated as well. Curse of the commentator coming into play here. So, third time's the charm. We'll watch Devereaux, who set a 1:10.7 on the soft tyres. We'll see if the Williams driver can improve, and you can hear the Williams Mercedes engine sing. Dever there crosses the line with a 1:10.695, improves his time, keeps him there in P7. Musty there has retired up in P4. He doesn't think anybody is going to improve on his time. Kev, as we can see here, did manage to get around and go again, so we'll see what he can do as he navigates his way through the final couple of corners. Put it on broadcast view here. Can Kev improve on his time here? As he is lagging a bit, he improves to a 1:10.3. I think that was an improvement anyway. They're still there in the medium times, or he stayed there, excuse me. Pace there is also going to cross the line. It's a 1:09.883. Proper lap time there from Pace. The quickest of the soft tire runners by, what is that, about a 10th and a half. Interesting. So there's a 10th and a half up on Rob there from Pace. Obviously, Rob is in contention for the win here. So we will see how that navigates his way through the next couple of qualifying. We're just going to see Luke here, as I think he does. Luke there. Lucalis, with just 5 minutes left, has hit the wall of champions. I think his tyres are in his wing are okay, but he's invalidated. And he's invalidated to the next lap. Lucalis here, who's only got 1.2 laps of fuel left with less than 5 minutes, is currently on an invalidated lap. So he has got to absolutely throw this car around here, pit in, get fuel on, go out again with enough time to set a lap, or he will be the sole driver eliminated in Q1. Big drama here from Lucalis. That's the 3rd race in a row Lucalis has had something go wrong in qualifying. Or I think it was in the race, excuse me, in sort of 2 races ago. Obviously, he had that issue in Singapore that got him knocked out. My goodness me. Big drama. Love it. Check in on Baz here. Let's see how he goes. Baz is just going to, I think he's just going to get ready to go around again. That's Chubby Slug there. Crosses the line, improves to a 1:10.3. Puts him safe. Baz is probably going to start his lap now. Yeah, he is indeed. As I look over to the chat, welcome in Michelando. How you doing? Unfortunately, the driver who was supposed to deputise in your position dropped out, so it is just the sole Aston Martin runner at the moment with Rob. So we'll keep an eye and see what Rob can do. Bosch is coming around at the moment. Mr. Seedy is out as well. Lucalis is in the pits, so I think he'll have time to go again. Bosch has retired. Bosch there has had an incident. That's the Wall of Champions. Bosch has retired at the Wall of Champions there and will finish P15 at best unless Lucalis sets a competitive lap time and will knock Bosch out in Q1 as Baz there invalidates while we're on board. Right then, so as we see Scama retiring, Mr. Seedy has also invalidated on the track right now. So that is Kev is still going around here. I think he's just doing some practice laps. So that's the drama. So Bosch has dropped it. I didn't get it on board. I only saw it at the bottom right there. Bosch has dropped it at the Wall of Champions and is out. He will start P15 at best, as we say. Now, the big question is here, is Luke going to be able to go out and set a competitive time? He is out of the pits, so this is the one to watch. The pressure is on the McLaren driver now. He cannot invalidate, or he is out in Q1. If he sets a lap time, any competitive lap time, I believe he will be through, because Bosch retired on track, he will finish bottom of the session no matter what, out of those drivers that set a time. So yeah, Luke just needs to set a time on the board. So we will go and watch the McLaren driver go round. This is very interesting. Right, so the pressure is on. We see drivers retire in the pits there as they know there is nothing more that they need to do. Kev is still just going around. I think Kev is actually out of fuel as he navigates his way down to the pit box. That is an Alpine going. I think Mr. Seedy is going around trying to set a better time, excuse me. So we'll see how the Alpine driver goes on. But all eyes are on the McLaren driver here. Will Lucalis set a time? In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that bottom right minimap open so we can see if he invalidates. Now, can Lucalis set a time? As we see, the McLaren driver is a very solid qualifier. Obviously, set a P0 record last season where he won the most amount of races without setting a single pole position. He did have a pole position this season. Forgive me, I cannot remember which race it is, but I know he's been back on pole since last season. So, can he even get himself in contention for pole here? As we see, very careful around the curbs there. He knows what he needs to do. It's going to be whether he can avoid a mistake. Navigates his way through Sector 2. Absolutely fine. DRS open as he goes down this mini DRS straight. Mr. Seedy did cross line. We'll check in a minute and see if he improved on his time. Navigates his way through the second to last chicane. The hairpin, obviously, he will set himself up nicely for. It is that chicane there. It's already claimed one victim with the kick driver. It's so easy to invalidate on it. So we'll see what the McLaren driver can do. Can he avoid a repeat of his mistake last time? He's got plenty of time to take the flag here as well. He's probably put some extra fuel in as well, just in case. Lucalis now in the McLaren navigates the corners, does not invalidate, and will set himself a lap time. Lucalis puts it P16 with an 11.7. No, excuse me, he's out. He is out unless... Has he got time to... He hasn't taken the flag, so I think he can go again if he's got the fuel to do it. So is it a case now of because he hasn't set a time quicker than Bosch's time when he retired, he's out? Interesting. So he is going to go again. He didn't take the flag. He got just enough time. So the pressure is really on now. Excuse me, that's my fault for not understanding how the game works. Lucalis could still be out. He's got no battery at all. So he's got to do this purely on his ability with the corners and gaining time wherever he can. Right, so Mr. CD's into the pits with a 1.11.3. He didn't improve. I think it was a yellow flag floating around, so he might have had a moment or so. So is Lucalis going to be the sole driver knocked out and have a mare in qualifying twice in a row? 58 seconds is his lap time here. I don't know what his sectors are looking like, but I tell you what, he's going to have a big problem here. As he goes through, does he invalidate? He doesn't. He gets it on the throttle. Is he as good? Has he done enough? Lucalis, as he crosses the line, sets a 1.11.4, and Lucalis is our sole Q1 knockout. Massive drama here. A driver competing for a world championship, a one-time P0 world champion as well, is out in Q1. Massive drama here. And the qualifying woes continue for Lucalis. My goodness me. Bosch there got knocked out. He is going to carry his way through technically to Q2, but will not be able to compete because he DNF'd at the Wall of Champions. So 14 drivers will compete in Q2, 4 of whom will be knocked out. And the full qualifying continues to give the drama. Lucalis has got a mountain to climb to score competitive points here. And I tell you what, this is going to be music to the ears of the Aston Martin team, who only have one competing driver this weekend as well. Absolutely perfect for them as McLaren and Aston Martin duke it out for the Constructors' Championship. Wow. Right then, Q2. And I tell you what, is it just me? Or are those clouds just a little bit lower in the sky as well? Are we at risk of rain here in Canada? There's always a risk of rain. I tell you what, I am so excited to see how these next few sessions go. Checkerless, well, it will be a great drive for him. Lucalis is always great at getting a car hustled around a track. I think he will do very well to recover. But I tell you what, look at the amount of cars coming out of the pits. I think I can see spray there coming out. So who's the first driver to go out here? This is going to be absolute carnage. That's one of the V-Carbs, I think, who's got out. So yes, every driver said, I think rain is absolutely imminent here. Pace is the first of the drivers to go around, so we'll see if anybody tries to go for the overtake. You did die in the wall, Bosch, and I tell you what, I mean, that is... Right, so 14 drivers are competing. Bosch will start P15. Lucalis will start P16. So Bosch sets a competitive lap time, crashes. So he goes P15 with a 1:10.9. What it means is he doesn't go through the next session, but for any driver to displace him, because he's done enough to get through. He's done enough to get through, basically. So anybody has to go quicker than Mr. CD to put Mr. CD down to P16, because Mr. CD was P15. I think. I don't know. We'll dig it down later. But what matters here is this. I've just noticed Mr. CD's actually left the session. I don't know if I've got Mr. CD on the thing. I do. I'll chuck him another invite. As we watch Pace go around with the clouds hanging ever lower in the sky, let's see what the VCAB driver can do to set his Q2 time. Is this going to be their only chance to set a Q2 to lap. If it is, I feel really bad for Mr. CD, who had a disconnect. You can see in the bottom right there, drivers trying to make a gap so they aren't bunched up with each other. Pace going right up against the wall there. Very, very exciting. So, Pace here put himself on the top in Q1. The track is just so much more hazy now, isn't it? It's just so much more. The track is probably a bit colder as well. Pace loves these conditions as long as he can keep it clean. And we'll see. Thank you for the Prime sub, Luke, as well. Much appreciated. I have my alerts. I need to mute that in a minute. Hope you're all a fan of Pink Floyd there. Right, so we see Pace navigate his way through the hairpin. Will he set a competitive enough time, as we see? Not really any spray out on circuit now, so Mr. CD might still have time to go out. He is in the pits at the moment. I don't know if he's retired or not. We'll have a look in a minute. As we see Pace round the final corner. What is the VCARB driver going to do? He crosses the line now, so it's a 109.8. So up on his previous time. Skarma there is getting a massive, or giving a massive turn to that Alpine driver there. 110.2 from the Alpine, 111.1 from Skarma. Chiv there has invalidated his time. Baz is next across the line. Kev has also invalidated, so he'll have to go again. So Baz is going to go around again. Kev is going to go around again. Chubby Slug now. Let's see what he can do. It's a 110.9 from Chubby Slug. And I think Tesco invalidated there as well. Let's see. Who was that? That was Rob's. That's a 109. Arwin's. That's a 109. With Dale with a 110 as well. And I am trying to keep up at the moment. FatBoySim. The rain is coming down. The rain is coming down. I can see it. FatBoySim has set a time of 109.8. Tesco set a 109.6 as well. Excuse me. Right. So that's going to be Devereaux, I think, is going around at the moment. So Devereaux has started his lap. Yellow flags come around. The rain is coming down. So Mr. Senior has come out of the pits. Kev, Chiv, and Devereaux have all got to go around. And conveniently, that's 4 drivers who will get knocked out in Q2. Skarma, though, is 2/10 off of Champions League with a 111.1. So Devereaux is best place. Is Devereaux best place? I think it's Kev, actually, is going to be best place at the moment. Cars, I think, are having issue in the rain. We'll see what Kev can do here. Chiv is in the pits. Chiv's in the pits. Surely he's out. Surely he's out. Devereaux's going around. Mr. CD is on his out lap. Kev, as he crosses the line, doesn't invalidate. He doesn't. Is Kev going to do enough to displace Skarma? Kev crosses the line now. It's a 110.7 from Kev. Devereaux now, as he goes round there out of the hairpin, he's got one more corner to deal with, and Skarma is the driver at risk here. So Chiv is in the pits here. In P13, he hasn't set a lap time. Mr. CD is coming around. He might still have a chance. The track isn't going to be that greasy yet. Devereaux avoids the invalidate, dumps whatever battery he has left. Devereaux, the Williams, crosses the line. It's a 112.3, and the lap times are starting to come down. All right, so Mr. CD is going to go on board with here. Excuse me. The Alpine driver is going to have the drive of his life here to put himself in with a chance. Skarma is in big, big trouble here in the VCARB. If he goes out again, he might be able to do it. But those curbs are so slippery. You saw Mr. CD already struggling there. As he went around T2, Mr. CD in the Alpine was very unfortunate with a disconnect, heartbreak, and the rain is just coming down harder and harder. Chiv is out. He's going to desperately run it around. Is he on the soft tires? He is, yes. So we are not going to be that far away from the intermediates. We'll see how Mr. CD's doing. I don't know what his sector times look like. Obviously, Baz, I think, is one ahead here, so we'll see how he goes. Rob is retired. I think a lot of those drivers in the pits know that it is going to be game over for them, but we'll see. Mr. CD and Chiv are still 2 drivers who are yet to set a competitive lap time. Mr. CD, look how tentative he's going around that hairpin there. As I look on the onboard, I think he's going to be on for a 111, a sort of a mid 111 here. I don't think Mr. CD will have done enough. Kev there right at the absolute death. And Mr. CD invalidates heartbreak for the Alpine driver. He won't have enough fuel to go again. And he is most certainly out unless the rain holds off. I'm going to go on board with Chiv and see what the McLaren driver can do here. And I actually want to go on the TV pod here. I kind of want to see how Chiv navigates this track. As you can see, the water droplets on the helmet, track just getting that little bit greasy. I knew the rain was coming from how it held on the side. Look how early Chiv is having to brake, and the car is all... Look at the understeer and the step oversteer. And Chiv is in so much trouble here. And the McLaren drivers are at a serious risk here of starting P14 and P16 in a race where Aston only have one driver. As we say, this is absolutely perfect for Rob here. We'll see how he can do. Tesco set a very strong lap time there. So Pace and FatBoySim are right up there with each other. Rob is about a 10th away, as is Arwen. Look at that, Tesco, excuse me. Almost 3/10 up on FatBoySim. So Tesco is an absolute chance at a podium here. But looking at the driver in question, I mean, look at Chiv here. Chubby Slug is going, as is Skarma. So if I have a quick look here, Skarma is out on the... He's on the soft tyres, I think, and that is going to be him going around desperately seeing if he can do anything. I'm just going to quickly check in with Mr. CD. He's in the pits. He doesn't have enough fuel to go again. We might run the intermediates and see how they sort of compete for P13, P14. Excuse me, as we see, look how early he has to break Chiv as he just goes through the final chicane here. Our winner last season, Chiv, is just struggling to get on the throttle there. Just a 1:19.2, and that is how quickly the track can change. Skarma, look how slow he is getting on throttle. I don't think there is any universe in which Skarma can pull 2/10 on his time here, with Chiv setting a 1:19. Wow. Rain straight away. Yeah, Skarma's in the pits, so he knows that there is no chance for him to improve. DRS has been disabled, and I tell you what, lads, that is that. That will be your grid. All we have to wait for here is if Mr. CD decides to go out again and see if he can improve his time at all. The one thing to watch for here is Chiv going to bring his car back to the pits in one piece? My goodness me. Right, so full of drama in qualifying. So shock Q1 exit here. Skarma and Chiv, two big names to exit in Q2 as well. Baz makes Q3 for the second time this season, I think, or the third time, I can't remember. As we see the McLaren driver, Chiv just needs to get his car back in one piece. I want to know what happened to Chiv there at the start. Did he invalidate and not have enough fuel to go again? That would be remarkable. My goodness me. Well, excuse me. Oh, the talking there has got me wrecked up my throat. And we are just watching here as we now wait for what will be the next 5 minutes. So, chat, this is a time for you and me. How you doing? So yeah, the big one in Q1 there. I think I've worked out what happened. So you have all of your times go through, right? So you have your times that are set in Q1. Now, Bosch DNF'd by crashing into the World Champions, but I'd already set a time of a 1:10.9, which I think put him in the mixer of like P11 or P12 off the top of the head. But because he's DNF'd, he isn't allowed to participate in Q2. So the game preemptively puts him in P15 in the sense that he's through to Q2. So what would have happened is if Lucullus had set a time that was quicker than Mr. CD or above, then that puts Lucullus into the mix and knocks Mr. CD out. The confusion comes because the game preemptively puts Bosch into P15 because he's out. When in reality, what the game should have done is left Bosch in his position in the standings, as you see in the left-hand side there, and then just not taken Bosch through into Q2. It was an unnecessary confusion from the game, and even I got it wrong because what I assumed was going to happen is if Luke set just any time at all, then Bosch goes out in Q3 because he's DNF'd. But obviously because he's sort of, I guess it's because of how the game works, really. It's unfair on Luke because the game unnecessarily muddies the water. If Bosch retired in order, like the drivers you can see on the left-hand side here, then Lucullus would know he'd had to beat Mr. CD. But, At the end of the day, what's done is done. If there's any driver who can fight their way from the back, it's Luke, as we've seen in the last 2 races. So, very excited to see how that goes. Drivers there, as you can see, just retiring at the moment. The 4 in knockout here, I don't think there's a lot that they can do. I think Skarma there briefly flickered onto the intermediate tyre, maybe thought about running it around, but it is what it is, Luke. I mean, the game. I mean, you yourself were taking the piss out of EA Sports before the race. Yeah, but at the end of the day, as I've said, I think you've got the capacity to bring it all the way back. You and Chiv will fight your way through the field. I have no doubts about it at all. I mean, the Wall of Champions is... I'd love to see the replay see. I have a sneaking suspicion that it isn't the wall that's an invalidation. I actually think it's the curb, because there's actually quite a fair bit of exit curb in between the track limits and the Wall of Champions. So I wonder if it's a game of, like, you know how some of the curb invalidations can be quite strict here. It's almost like if you're that close enough to hit the wall, your plank is also so far across that you invalidate. But I do know that in some walls you can invalidate if you hit them. And Monaco obviously is famous for it. So very excited to see. I think it's going to be a properly interesting game. What I'm interested about, is it going to be a full... Is it going to rain all the way through Q2? I tell you what, it doesn't matter if it's going to rain all the way through Q3, because Skarma and Chiv, presumably for a laugh, have gone out on the fresh, soft tyres. This is going to be mighty interesting indeed. Are either of these drivers going to make their way around the track? DRS has been enabled. Whoa, hold on a minute. Right, okay. So the rain is coming to an end and DRS has been enabled. This is not over yet. So Skarma is 2/10 behind Chummy Slug. Devereaux there said at 1:12.3 and Mr. CD in the pits, they haven't come out. So the track is really greasy. It's still raining, but DRS is back on. So can Skarma or Chiv pull out an absolutely miraculous lap here and improve their times? To be honest, I don't think Skarma is going to be in a position to beat Chubby Slug. I don't think the track will be grippy enough. But with DRS enabled, the rain is stopping. Right, okay. So this is very interesting indeed. You can see Skarma and Chiv there. They want to cross the line as late as they possibly can to give themselves a chance. In fact, Chiv is going to go around first. Chiv is just sending it. So we'll go on board with Chiv and we'll watch him and Skarma go around here. Can either of them pull out an absolutely insane Q3 run? 10 seconds to the line. They're both going to make it around. So we'll go on board with both drivers here very close to each other. And oh, look at Chiv slapping the car out at the rear there. The track is still really greasy. But are they going to be able to set a time here? The rain looks like it stopped. The rain looks like it stopped, which makes Q3 is going to be really interesting because the track is going to re-grip up again, which means that the last car to cross the line in Q3 is going to be in the best position in terms of track quality. It's still raining in parts of the lap. I tell you what, Skarma's actually getting a bit of a tow from Chiv here. I don't think either driver has invalidated yet, as we see Chiv navigate his way through. Doesn't hit the wall. I thought he was going to. Skarma keeps it very sensible there, away from the wall. That was a great angle, watching that McLaren go around here. Can he improve his time? Still so tentative. It's so slow corners. And Chiv here is going to be giving a lovely tow to Skarma, so if they do improve on their times, Skarma's going to be in a better position. Wow, right, okay, so we'll see. The flag is out. What will these two do? It is very slippery indeed, but they've got to try. Skarma goes into the pits. I think he did invalidate. Chiv, will he displace Devereaux? He doesn't. It's a 1:16.4. But you know what? I knew he wasn't going to improve, but I kind of wanted him to. I kind of hoped. I had hope in my mind that he could pull out an insane lap, but you know, you got to keep up the old commentators like, oh, you never know. But kudos for Skarma and Chiv trying. I think Skarma, I think he invalidated at the end. It looked like he actually might have invalidated on that chicane before the hairpin. But yes, P13 for Chiv there. P11 for Skarma. Devereaux splitting the two in the Williams there. Mr. CD down there, P14, wasn't able to set a lap. Was very unfortunate in the disconnect as well. Otherwise, he would have been in that pack to set a time. So, unfortunate for the Alpine driver. But still within a chance of points. With 16 drivers, we score points down to 15th. So one driver will not score points. But if one driver retires, then everyone who gets to the finish line will score a point. So yes, Tesco is the one to watch here. I'm curious to see if he will be in contention for pole position. He is currently top of the time trial leaderboards. Actually, I think he's actually behind Chris Allen technically. But out of the competing drivers in P0 at the moment, he's top of the leaderboard. So we'll keep an eye on him. As I've said, the track is starting to get a bit more sunny now. And as I said, as we went through that lap there, the track is still quite greasy. The rain is still there, but the rain has stopped. So drivers are going to run around now, especially on this first banker lap, probably going to use used tyres. Because of how short a track it is here, you can actually set 3 laps in Q3 if you're really on it. But the last driver to cross the line is going to be in the best possible position. I can't emphasize that enough. Because the trap is just going to get grippier and grippier and grippier and grippier and grippier. But it is so easy to invalidate here as well. So you've got to be on it. You cannot invalidate. Kev is going to take us around, I think, but we're going to see if any of the drivers try and squeeze their way through. But we've got both Red Bulls, both Mercedes, both Ferraris, 1 Alpine, 1 VCarb, 1 Aston Martin, and 1 Williams taking us through to Q3 here. Kev is going to lead us along. It looks like Kev has been having some technical difficulties today as well, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too much. Pace Baz, Chubby, and Rob are all in the pits at the moment. They don't want to go out straight away. They're going to wait for these drivers to do the thankless task of cleaning up the track. And getting a bit more grip out there. I say that as I think that's Baz and Rob leaving the pits here. So Pace and Chubby Sykes sitting there at the moment, just biding their times. Pace obviously has been absolutely on it as well. I think he could be right up there for the top qualifying positions. So I think it's going to be between Rob, Arwin, Cleon, Tesco, and Pace for pole position. It's going to be pretty tight indeed. We're going to go on board and watch Kev make his way around here as our first competing driver as Chubby Slot comes out of the pits at the moment. Hopefully won't get in the way with the other drivers. As he navigates T1 here, really easy to cut it. T2 here is really understeery. You want to get on throttle as soon as you can, but the rear can step out on you quite easily. Going down into the Vettel chicane here, again, very easy to invalidate as a lot of corners are here. You can go right up against the wall if you're feeling brave, but you can obviously, you don't want to touch it. As Kev there, so that's a pretty blistering sector 1 by the looks of it. Navigates the second chicane pretty well, uses all the exit curb there, use the inside curb of the second bit of that chicane to rotate the car as well. DRS open as he goes down into the third chicane here, cuts quite a lot of the inside, but that's what you do. Uses that little bit of exit curb there, but doesn't touch the grass, doesn't slow you down. You want to brake a bit late here. You want to take a little bit of an early apex here. You want to get on throttle right as your tyre leaves the curb. You wash your way right up to the wall there. Use the curb there, and it's kind of a not really straight, so you just got to go absolutely flat down there. There's this tiny kink as you just saw him pass as the DRS open. The last chicane being the Wall of Champions chicane, really easy to invalidate. You don't want to cut too much of the inside. You don't want to touch the sausage curbs on the outside. You don't want to hit the wall either. It's pretty clean from Kev as we see him cross the line. It's a 109.5 from Kev there. FatBoySim is next with a 109.5. Beats him by 1/1000th there. Tesco is the one to watch. He's invalidated. Tesco has invalidated his lap times. We see Chubby Slug is going to start his lap in a minute. Very big. Oh, so Dale said a 110.2. Arwen, I think, invalidated as well. Baz is got. So that was Musty said a 114.5. He's had a problem somewhere. That's going to be a VCarb of Pace who's going to start his lap. So we'll keep an eye on him in a minute. Rob is also behind Baz. He has still yet to set a time. So Tesco's going around again, but he's in traffic at the moment. So we'll see. He invalidated on his first run. As watch the Williams driver here looking for his best start of the season, and it's an invalidation from Baz. Very unfortunate from him. He will have to go again. We'll check in with Rob and see what the Aston Martin can do. Used all of his battery here. Does he keep it in the lights? He invalidates as well. Drivers invalidating all over the place. Tesco is still invalidating. Obviously, he's still got to go again. Excuse me. I'm going to check in. How's Arwen doing? Arwen has also invalidated, so we'll check in with Pace and see how he's doing. So, drivers going into the pits at the moment. I think Tesco is just going to start his lap again. I think that is Tesco going in again. We'll have a check in a minute, but I'm just going to watch Pace here. It looks like he set a purple sector 2, so only 3 competitive times at the moment. Musty is still going around. I think Musty is actually going to round the final corner, as he has rounded the final corner here. And see if what he can do as we see Pace go through the final chicane here. Musty is, I think he's still going to go again. I think it was Musty anyway. Pace there crosses the line with a 109.4 up on FatBoySim and on provisional pole. Musty did invalidate. Baz there also invalidate. So we're going to see if he goes again. I'm just having a check in here. FatBoySim's in the pit. Chubby Slug set a 110.4. I don't know if I caught that or not. So Musty there invalidated. Very unfortunate. Baz, I think, has gone out again. 6 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock. I think Rob, is he currently on his lap? No, so Rob is going to start his lap in a minute. That is Kev behind as well. So I'm going to check in on Baz and see how the Williams driver goes as well. Can he go on for his best start of the season so far? I think P10 is his best qualifying so far. Got himself into Q3, invalidated on his first run here. He's going again on the same tyres. He will obviously come out at the very end on the fresh softs and see what he can do. Love seeing the car snake their way through the chicane here. That wall there is so deceptively close. It's really easy to clip a wheel on that wall. I've done it many times myself as he navigates his way through the hairpin. A very clumsy corner, this hairpin here. So I'm going to go back here. I want to go on the TV pod as we see Baz using all of the battery he has left. Going to be well north of 200 miles an hour as he makes his way down to the Wall of Champions. This is where he invalidated the first time. Is he going to do it again? Baz makes his way through very cleanly. DRS open. Keeps it outside of the wall. Baz, what time is he going to set? Puts it P6, 111.2 from the Williams driver. Rob is in the pits. Arwen is out with Tesco there at the moment, and I'm going to check in and see where Musty is at the moment. Musty, I think, is... No, he's not on a lap at the moment. He's just recharging. And is he on fresh? No, he's on the worn softs. He might decide to go out at the moment. We'll see. I don't think he's on a... no, he's not on a lap at the moment. Right, so who do I want to check in on here? So Tesco has gone out. Tesco's actually started his lap. I want to be on board for this. And see what the Mercedes driver can do. As we say, potential for pole here. As you see, look how much of the grass he took there. Tesco is absolutely throwing this car around. Purple, Sector 1 as well. Pace is right up at the top there, as we saw. Tesco just leaning the car out to the curbs there. He has been absolutely on fire in time trial. He put a scorcher of a time down in Q2. Can he set a benchmark here in Q3 with just under 5 minutes left to go, as I understand? It's a purple Sector 2 from Tesco, if it is to be believed. We'll see what he can do with the Wall of Champions. This is where almost all of the time will be gained for a lot of these drivers. So I'm going to go onto the TV pad here, TV pod, excuse me, and see what he can do. Rob is about to start his lap. Arwen is on a lap, so we'll check in on Arwen in a minute as well. But we're going to see what Tesco can do here. Keeps it within the lines. DRS open. Uses whatever battery he has left. Tesco will cross the line here, and it is a 109.2 from Tesco. Arwen has invalidated his time. So he is will probably have to go again. Rob will check in on the Aston Martin and see where he can put it as well. Tesco there with a scorcher of a time. I don't know if he's going to have time to pit in and go again, though. We'll have to see. But on a chance for his first ever pole position at P0, which would be brilliant for him. Dale, obviously still in the pits, will go out again on fresh softs. Still 1/1000 separating Kev and FatBoySim. Look how close Rob is to the wall there. Love seeing that. Chubby Slug's at an outlap ahead as well. Musty has also put some fresh softs on as well. Arwen is on a lap, so he invalidated. He's now going again. So Arwen, this will be Arwen's last chance to set a lap, I believe. So we'll check in with him in a minute. I'm not sure how competitive if Kev's on a lap or not, but we're going to watch Rob come around the last corner here. Can he keep it? Oh, he's pitted. So Rob is pit. He's pit. He wasn't happy with his time. Interesting. So, Arwen's the one to watch here. Rob will have time to put fresh softs on and go again. I thought he was going to be on a decent lap. Tesco's in the pit, so he might have time to go again. We're going to watch and see if Kev improves on his time as he rounds the corner. The cross line, the finish line there. He does it, or he's starting. We'll check in Musty now as he goes around. 14.5 wasn't a competitive time. He's going to start his final lap of the session in a minute. We'll check in and see how he's doing, but I want to see how the Red Bull goes at the moment. Arwen, this is his only chance to set a time. Is he going to keep it valid as he runs through the final chicane, keeps it very safe, doesn't hit the wall? Arwen dumps whatever battery he has left, sets a 109.9. It'll be P5 at best for Arwen. Chubby Slug is also going to run what I think is going to be his last lap, unless the drivers have fueled to go again. I didn't check Arwen's fuel. Chubby Slug might have fueled to go again. Chubby Slug has invalidated. He has got fuel to go again, though. So we will see a Chubby Slug go again for certain. We're going to check it on Musty here as he goes down to the hairpin. Rob is still in the pits. He'll have to come out in a minute. Tesco is coming out of the pits right now as well. So Tesco will have a chance to beat his time. Pace is currently looking for his best qualifying of the season so far, but FatBoySim is also on a lap. I'm going to check in and see how he's going after we see Musty cross the line. So Musty set a 14.5 after an error in his lap. Is he going to be able to go again? Rob is still in the pit, so we're going to watch him in a minute. Musty makes his way across the finish line now. Where does he put it? He puts it P5, displaces Arwen with the 109.8. FatBoySim is the one to watch here. He set a 109.5. He's 3/10 off of the provisional pole from Tesco, who is out on an outlap at the moment. Rob is just coming out of the pits as well. We'll see what FatBoySim can do. Can he put himself on provisional pole here? It's a very clean wet exit through the final chicane. FatBoySim comes up to the line now and puts it P2. FatBoySim P2 with a 109.2. It's P2 at best for FatBoySim. Chubby Slug is going around again. Who's invalidated? Sorry, Chubby Slug will have a chance to go again. Excuse me. So Tesco is out on an outlap. Let's see who's running at the moment. Kev, I think, is just about to run out of fuel, I think. So I'm just going to check where I think Baz is the next one to look for here. So Tesco has just started his lap, so we'll check in and see how he's doing in a minute. Baz is on a lap. Rob is also on an outlap. I wonder if Rob's going to make it. I can't see the time left. No, 23 seconds. I think he'll be okay. I'm going to check in on Tesco and see how he's doing, if he can improve his time. Actually, Pace is who I want to get on board with and see if he can improve, as he uses a lot of the curb on the inside there. So, FatBoySim improved to a 109.2. He will not have enough fuel to go again. So, can Pace displace him or even go one better? Tesco, right up the top there. I want to see how he's doing. He is flying his way around. Is it a purple sector 2 from Tesco? It is a purple sector 2, so he is improving as the flag is out. Arwen takes the flag. FatBoySim will take the flag as well. Like I said, I don't think he'll be able to go again or improve. I could be wrong, of course. Having a look, yeah, FatBoySim isn't going to be able to go again. So Tesco, as he's got one more complex of corners to go, can Tesco improve on his time? As Chubby Slug goes up to P6. It's a 109.8 for the Ferrari driver. Tesco set to 109.2. He wasn't able to improve on his time, but he's still on provisional pole. That's Dale running the last corner now, so we'll see as Pace invalidates. So Pace, at the very death there, invalidates. Dale takes the flag in P8. So unfortunate for him. Baz is, let's see where Rob is and see what he can do. Still yet to set a time. So yeah, Dale is taking the flag. Kev and Musty are still going around. Musty's just rounding the final corner now, I think that is. As Rob takes the final chicane, doesn't invalidate. Rob, where will he put his car? He puts it P3, displaces Pace there. Kev is out of fuel. Musty takes the flag there, and Baz is in the pits. So that is your grid. Tesco, for the first time in P0, is on pole position. P1 for the Mercedes driver. Very well done for him. FatBoySim will start alongside him at the front row. Rob at the death there, put it up. And P3 Pace there, P4. Brilliant start. I think that's his best qualifying of the season, excuse me. Kev in there in P5, I think is also his best qualifying of the season. I'd have to check. Musty, again, I think his best qualifying of the season as well in P6. Very good run from the Alpine driver there. Chubby Slug there in P7. Arwin in P8 went way too early, in my opinion, there. Starts alongside his teammate Dale in P9, which I think is his best start of the season, and Baz in his joint best start of the season in P10. So a very, chaotic qualifying there. I need a beer. Oh dear. Yes, apologies for the adverts there. There's not a lot I can do to stop that. I'm going to mute my alerts as well. That's why I go through. There we go. Right. Very well done for the Mercedes driver. Put it on top in time trial. Put a scorcher of a time down in Q2. Set the benchmark early in Q3, and FatBoySim could not beat him. So, brilliant stuff there. Get that beer down. Yeah, I've got some Beavertown Neckel. I'm on the IPA at the moment because it's on sale in Tesco's. I might need another one at this rate. I've already gone through half the cat. Yes. I had my pre-race snack. I was on the... I've Marks and Spencer sell these mini... Colin the Caterpillars now. Which are absolutely... I think they're technically called Connies. Connie the Caterpillars. Right, we're going to line up for the formation lap, and it is clear skies for the start. As I remind people, I don't know the weather forecast, so if rain comes later on, I won't know until it comes. The drivers will know, and will set up their, set up their tyres accordingly. Every time I do these streams, I've got the beer with me, because I had a beer. When I raced in P0, I always had a beer on me, right? It's just these Sunday nights are just an excuse to enjoy beer, in my opinion. But it gives me so much gas. It does. I burp all the time. So I do apologise if you are hearing it on the microphone. But we are saying drivers are just selecting their tyres at the moment. We can have a look and see what people are running. As it stands, medium there for Tesco right at the top, and then hards running down from P2 down to P6. Chubby Slug on the soft tyres, thinking about something different. Arwen on the hards, and his teammate on the opposite strategy on the mediums. Spaz on the hards, Scar on the mediums, Devereaux on the hards, Chiv, Mr. Seedy on the mediums, and then Bosch and Lucalis looking to go long. Two drivers out of position here on the hard tyre. So I think it's going to be a one-stop here. I expect it to be medium hard or hard medium, as is quite standard for this generation of the F1 game, to be honest. Tyre wear is very high here, or at least I believe it is. The soft tyres, in my opinion, are not a viable race tyre at all. They die after about 4 laps. But the medium and the hards will be the ones to watch. I think it's going to be a case of probably about 20 to 25 laps on the hards. It's a 35-lap race, so you just sort of run around on the hards, just try and keep into a bit of a rhythm, and then either run the mediums to the end to overtake those doing the alternate strategy, or obviously vice versa. Track position is fairly important here. It's not impossible to overtake in Canada, but it's a bit more difficult than you think it is, especially with the difference in wings that people run, and obviously how the battery runs in this game as well. So you will see overtakes. It won't be like a Hungary thing or anything, but it's going to be quite difficult. We're seeing a bit more diversifying of the tyres here. Chubby Slug abandons his soft tyre strategy, so it's 2 mediums, 2 hards on the front 2 rows there. Kev on the mediums, both Mercedes looking to go on the same strategy there. Hopefully they're not too close to each other. Musty there on the hards, Chubby Slug on the mediums, and I think you're going to see this sort of happen a bit. I think Rob and Pace are probably going to extend their stints as well. Probably just sit behind the mediums for the moment, get towed along a bit, and then just sort of run off and clean air a bit. So the hard tyres are, I think it's a pretty significant delta on that. I think it's about a second delta from the hards to the mediums. I'm not 100% familiar with the tyre compounds we're using at the moment, but the hards are quite slow, but they're very durable. I'm really interested to see how this works out strategy-wise. I think, in my opinion, a 2-stop's actually kind of viable here, but it depends on sort of surviving on those softs for as long as possible. And of course, there may be a threat of rain. Who knows? The cloud is, well, it's not sunny. I'll tell you that. It's cloud. It's a very British clouds, and you know how sort of easy the rain can fall here in the UK. So we'll keep an eye on it. As we line up for the formation lap here, Tesco will lead us along. As you can see there, the AWS race strategy suggests a hard medium, but a two-stop is possible. I don't think we will see any soft tyres at all, if I'm honest. So, yeah, there's your tyre strat. So, Tesco and FatBoySim on the medium tyres. We said Rob and the Pace on the hard tyres. Those four, I think, will be the ones to watch. Kev there on the medium tyre. Musty there on the hard tyre on the third row. And it's the same on the fourth row, Chubby Slug on the medium, and then hards for Arwen. And then, would you believe it, on the fifth row, it's exactly the same. It's mediums for Dale, and then hards for Baz. Down on the sixth row, it's exactly the same again. Scarborough on the mediums, and then Devereaux on the hards. So you see this pattern of the left-hand side driver on the mediums, the right-hand side driver on the hards, which is always pretty cool. But Chiv and Mr. Seed there on the mediums, just going to try and force their way through. As we see Tesco deciding to cut some grass there. Very slightly. The Bosch there on the hards, and then Lucullus on the medium tyre. So I'm expecting Lucullus to probably pit early. I've just noticed Tesco with a disconnect there. I'm just going to chuck him an invite. That's a very unfortunate time to have a disconnect. So we will see. Hopefully he's able to get in before the start of the formation lap. Otherwise, FatBoySim is going to have a golden opportunity to take that Mercedes driver. As we see, yeah, Tesco's just fallen back there. That's a bit unfortunate for him. He has a solid run of bad luck, Tesco does, the Mercedes driver. So hopefully he's able to get back in and take control of his car. I actually don't know if he'll be able to take control of his car until... I don't know if it's a case of he has to wait until the race starts to be able to take control of his car. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to send him a second invite just to be safe. Hopefully not going to pepper him too much. But we will watch Tesco as we see, I guess we see his AI take forth there. Kev has been disqualified. Well, not disqualified, but has not managed to put it in his box. So, 16 drivers in Canada. Tesco has joined, but I don't know when he'll be able to take control of his car, but we're going to watch them go through. Anyway, green flags are waving. Our first-time pole position sitter, FatBoySim, looking for a third race win in a row. Who is going to take the lead into T1? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Canada. And we are go! FatBoySim gets a pretty good start. Tesco moves over to cut him off, or the AI of him does anyway. And we're going to see that's Chubby Slug has gone all the way down to the bottom there. I think he's had a problem with his start. Tesco is taking control of his car, and FatBoySim's got into the back of him. So FatBoySim there, is he carrying wing damage? I think he's okay. There was a bit of an issue there as Tesco took control of his car, and then FatBoySim there, I think, just club at the back of him there. Hopefully it's all okay. Chubby Slug is going very slowly at the back there. I don't know what's happened to him there. Is he holding wing damage there from Chubby Slug? No, his wing isn't damaged, but he has gone down. Bosch has fallen down a little bit. I noticed he got his way back up, but then Lucullus has gone up from P16 to P13, so something happened up there. But it's as you were up the top. Tesco leads from pole position. FatBoySim behind him. Then it's Rob. Then it's Pace, Kev, Musty. Dale jumps Arwen for P7, P8. Baz there has been overtaken by Chiv. You would have seen it right at the bottom of your screen there. Excuse me. Chiv is in P10, Baz is down to P11, Devereaux is still in P12, Lucullus is actually quite close to Devereaux here. I don't know if he's going to be able to make a move. He's looking at the racing line, not close enough, backs out of it, makes the smart decision. So Lucullus has made up some positions already. So we'll see what the McLaren driver can do. I think he might try and make a move right up at the T1 here. Chubby Slug has had to retire. Unfortunate for him as we've seen Lucullus go down the inside of the Williams driver, Devereaux there, and he's up to P12. Right, so Lucullus with a good recovery there. I think it was Mr. Seedy. I think that was getting very close there to Devereaux as they navigated the first couple of corners there. So Bosch there is right on the back of Mr. Seedy. Is he going to have a go around the outside? That would be ridiculous. I'm looking right up at the top there. I think FatBoySim is very close to the back of Tesco. Is he going to make a move here? I don't think he is. But he is that much closer to the Mercedes driver. It's very difficult to lead here. So we'll see, is he going to make a move down the hairpin? That would be absolutely ridiculous. DRS is now enabled, so Tesco has got a lot of work to do to defend his position. I tell you what, FatBoySim is absolutely on the gearbox, that Mercedes driver. He wants to be in the lead. He wants the clean air. Is he going to be close enough to make the move? He's going to get a double dose of DRS, of course. He moves over to the right-hand side. Is he going to make the move happen? I don't think he will. Looking down the mid, Dale, as Skarma makes the pass on Arwen on the DRS straight there. We'll see if they trade again, as Tesco is able to defend his position. Chiv is going to have a go at Arwen here. Is he going to have a go here? Mr. CD retires. The Wall of Champions is a virtual safety car. So Chiv is unable to make the pass there. He was right alongside Arwen, and unfortunately we've had 2 DNFs in the first 3 laps. Mr. CD there, I can't go on board with the Alpine driver, but I suspect he has had an incident at the Wall of Champions. We were the first driver to put it into the Wall of Champions. I knew it was going to happen. Chiv there was very, very, very close to overtaking Arwen. Was basically side by side. So, 3 laps in, Tesco leads from FatBoySim, from Rob, from Pace, so it's all as you were in the front 4. Kevin P5, Musty P6, all as they qualified. Dale has moved up to P7 there. Skarma's moved up to P8 as the virtual safety car is now back. I tell you what, Rob actually was very close to FatBoySim there, but Tesco got a really good restart. Lucalis has made the pass on the hairpin there. I think that was the pass on Baz. It was indeed, yes. So we'll see what he can do. Arwen is the one I want to watch here. Is he going to be able to be close enough to make a move on Skarma? I tell you what, Chiv is that much closer to him. Dale makes a move on Musty right at the top of your screen up there as well. So Dale up to P6. Very good from him there. Chiv is almost certainly going to have picked up a warning for that. Baz there, not well. Lucas is going to get a dose of the DRS, so Baz will have to try and fight another day. So Tesco there, still defending from FatBoySim. These two very close together. Again, it's going to be a case of penalties here for certain. So we'll have a look at the position changes. Dale and Skarma getting some very good starts there. Chubby Slug obviously had an absolute nightmare. Look at Rob, how close Rob is to the back of FatBoySim. FatBoySim is even closer to the back of Tesco. These drivers are about half a second separating 3 of them. They are going to come to blows very soon, I think. Bosch makes the pass on Devereaux down that DRS straight as well, so we'll see if Devereaux can fight that one back, but I want to keep on board here and see what Tesco is able to do. Look at FatBoySim, he's almost alongside the Mercedes driver on the exit at the hairpin, but Rob is that much closer to him as well, and Kev is also very close to the back of Pace, so we'll see what Pace can do. FatBoySim, he's going to look to go side by side. He is side by side with Tesco. He makes the pass before the chicane of the Wall of Champions. That's a really good overtake from FatBoySim, and we've had a change for the lead. FatBoySim made an overtake around the outside of Tesco there, going into the chicane of the Wall of Champions. That's very good indeed. Musty in the background there made a pass back on Dale. Devereaux also is fighting with Bosch down the back there. We'll see if we can catch that battle as they go side by side through T1, and Bosch makes the pass happen. Very good overtake from him there. Rob now is going to be the one to see if he can put any pressure on Tesco, if Tesco is going to be able to remake the pass. Skarma and Musty are our first drivers to pick up time penalties, so I'm going to keep an eye on those penalties and see how they go. Dale is that very close to the back of Musty there. These two have had a great battle so far, but Skarma's actually quite close to the back of Dale as well. So this is a battle to look out for. Chiv is also with Arwen at the back of this. Lucalis is just slightly out of DRS range as Dale also had a big snap there. Puts himself under pressure from Skarma. Skarma's actually going to go around the inside of the hairpin. He doesn't. He decides to stay back, but Dale goes a little bit wide, but it's going to be a race for the DRS. Both drivers will get DRS here. Musty's going to pull away very so slightly. I'm just keeping an eye there. Rob, I think, might have a go on Tesco here, as Tesco looks like he's going to go around the outside of FatBoySim through the Wall of Champions. That's a brilliant move there. But Rob is that much closer, but Pace is even closer to them. Rob, he's going to go side by side with FatBoySim. He makes the pass on FatBoySim here. And in the case of, what is that, about 2 corners at a straight, we've had a complete reshuffle for the top of the grid. My goodness me, Dale is right up on the nose of Skarma. Skarma must have made the pass on Dale down the straight there. We didn't get to see it. But Tesco has regained the race lead, an even better overtake around the outside of FatBoySim. That was brilliant stuff there. Rob made the most of it, and he is up to P2. FatBoySim up to P3. Pace and Kev still slugging behind as well. Bosch is the next driver to pick up 3 seconds time penalties as Kev and Pace go side by side. Is Kev going to send it up the inside here? He does. Good overtake from the Mercedes driver. He's up to P4. And Pace on the hard tyres is up to P5. Great stuff so far. This is another battle to look out for here. Chiv, Lucalis is just getting into the DRS now of his McLaren teammates. So it's both Red Bulls and both McLarens, a line astern, all fighting for position, towing their teammates together. Rob is very close to the back of Tesco. Rob is going down the inside of Tesco, and we've had another potential change for the race lead. Tesco's going to fight it, but there's not a lot he can do. Rob makes his way up to P1. It is a new change for position as FatBoySim goes down the outside of Tesco. You would have just caught that slightly there. So FatBoySim is up to P2, and Tesco's gone from P1 to P3 in just 2 straights. This is a crazy fight for the lead here. So, Musty is just almost getting onto the back of Pace there. He's almost getting up to the back of this. So we might see a train of drivers go from P1 down to P11, which would be remarkable. I'm going to check in on Arwen here. It's still 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens. Arwen very well might actually have a go at his teammate here. He goes down the inside of Dale here. The hard tyres just starting to work a bit more for Arwen. And the Red Bulls have swapped around. Skarma also picks up 3 seconds of time penalties. Dale is going to have to defend from Chiv, who was just that little bit closer. Is he going to look at the inside? He doesn't look at the inside, so we'll check and see how that goes. But I want to go right back up to the top here, and you scarcely have a chance to breathe. See what these 5 drivers are going to do here. Rob, I think, is going to be able to lead all the way there. Kev is going to be under pressure from Pace, but it's as you were. Skarma is one to watch here. He's not going to be able to make a move on Musty. I think he had an incident there. Baz makes the pass on Bosch there, but is Bosch going to have a look and go back at the Williams driver? We'll check on this. Devereaux, his teammate, is right back at him there. Bosch right on the toe of Baz there. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? He isn't. So Dale has had a... Dale's off. Dale has had an incident, and the Red Bull driver, he's had a big stab of oversteer. So something happened there. Dale has been shuffled right back down to P14. So something happened there, and there's a big gap between Chiv and Arwen there. So that is, what is that, 1.7 seconds between Chiv and Arwen, so something happened there. So, well, keep an eye on that. Lucalis and Chiv just trying to make their way up through the field. We'll check in and see how these drivers are doing. Skarma and Musty still very close to each other as well. He's like a Tesco nearly going into the back of FatBoySim there. So, these drivers were as you were. Bosch is also one to check. I want to see how he does at the end there. Kev and Pace are still very close to the back of this. I think Pace is just going to take a minute. They've pulled away from Musty a little bit. Musty's actually under pressure from Skarma there, I believe he is. So Skarma makes the pass on Musty. Musty's going to try and fight it all the way through, but they keep as you were. Bosch continues to make the pass there. As we see, look at that Alpine driver. That's Skarma. Arwen is going to go down the inside of the pair of them, is he? My goodness. Arwen there with a double dose of DRS. And they are going to go side by side for the session change here. Musty is going to try and fight this. I think he's going to have to back out of it. Yeah, so Skarma moves up to P6. Great drive from him so far. Arwen and Musty's moved down from P6 to P8 there. It's as you were at the top. Both McLaren drivers still trying to make their way up the top of the field. Skarma and Musty obviously carrying some penalties at the moment as Lucalis and Chiv there swap positions. So Lucalis is going to try and lead the McLarens up from P16 to P9 for Lucalis here. So Skarma moved his way up. So we're going to check and see how this does. I'm also going to have a look. Tesco is very close to the back of FatBoySim. I wonder if he's going to make a move. Baz picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? I don't know if he is, but I wonder if Musty is going to be close enough to make a move. He's very close. So actually, Arwen's even closer to the back of that VCARB driver. I'm trying to see. Tesco isn't going to make the move, but Arwen is going to go around the outside of Skarma here. Musty is going to try and stick his nose around the outside, but nothing happening there. But he is going to get a dose of DRS for good measure as well. The McLarens are very nearly in with this fight. Like Musty goes down the outside of Skarma. Is Musty going to make the move? Skarma's going to defend it around the inside. Musty's going to have the grip around the outside on the hard tyres. And these drivers... Oh, look, Musty's gone wide. Skarma Rob is tucked right up on the inside of the cutback. Musty, they're going to go side by side in this corner. Skarma has to back out of it. I was brilliant driving from these three drivers here. But in doing that, they've pulled Lucalis that much closer to them, and Arwen is very close to breaking DRS as Dale is the next driver to pick up 3 seconds of time penalties. And these two... those two straights, the final straight in Sector 3 and the one close to the finish line, are brilliant overtaking opportunities. The Williams swap positions in the back there. Baz is passed by his teammate Devereaux. We'll see if they can pull themselves up to Bosch. Devereaux's one not carrying any penalties at the moment. It's as you are still at the top. Rob, obviously, is an expert at defending his position. FatBoySim just sticking in the DRS for the moment. We'll see which one of these drivers is the first to pull the trigger on the medium. So Pace is still in this battle. But Rob is leading on the hard tyres as it stands. So, good run from the Aston Martin at the moment. You can see these cars snake their way down. Pace, actually, in the background there, makes the pass on Kev, goes down the inside of turn 1. I just caught the very end of that. So, Pace has made his way back up. The hard tyres are going to start becoming the better tyres here. Chiv there is in the pits. So, Chiv and Dale are in the pits. FatBoySim is the first of the lead cars to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Big news in the fight for the win here. So, we thought penalties would define this race. FatBoySim is the first of the potential runners here. This front 5, really, all in contention for a race win here. They're all so close to each other. We'll see how they go at the moment. So Chivendale have put on the hards. So they have got off the mediums, and they're going to run the hards to the end. Look how close Tesco is to FatBoySim. Nearly runs into the back of them. Has to get off the throttle here. Might actually put him under risk from Pace here. We'll see what the VCAB driver does. Very good at saving his battery is Pace. So we'll see. I think Tesco might have just had the pull on him. As the gaps are just starting to sort of grow ever so slightly. Lucalis might be very close to making a move on Scout. FatBoySim had a big snap there, didn't he? FatBoySim, is he going to be in danger of Tesco here? I don't think he is. Tesco, is he going to make a move here? It'd be a great place to make a move. Keeps it safe. Lucalis is in the pits. So Lucalis is taking off the mediums. He's going to put on the hards now. So, right, I want to keep the eye on the tyres here. So FatBoySim and Tesco have to pit imminently. As it stands, the hard runners will run to about lap 20... Oh, God, it would probably be about lap 23, I would imagine. Probably the hard runners. That was my guess. Big snap from Skarma there as we look on board. Pace is very close to Tesco there. You can see the hard tyres are really coming into play. Lucalis and Chiv actually come out basically alongside each other. Chiv has ever so slightly undercut Lucalis there as well, but both of the guys were next to each other. I think the undercut's fairly powerful here because of how tire deg is. So look at these cars. This is about it. Look how close they are, separating each other. Pace is saying, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way! I want to run on my hard tires." He's going side by side with the Mercedes driver. Is he going to make this pass happen? You can see the Mercedes just alongside him. Is he going to have the more favorable run? Oh, they almost collide with each other there. Pace, is he going to have a look at the inside? He gets shown the door pretty authoritatively by Tesco, but is he going to have the better run? He goes around the outside of the Mercedes driver, and Pace will make his way up to P3, and he wants to be right where Rob is because those two are the ones on the hard tyres. He needs to get back into the DRS. FatBoySim, he's almost out of it, and we'll see how they run. Lucalis and Chiv are just going to tow each other along just that evermore. Reminder, all drivers, if they finish, will score points at the moment. We score points down to 15th, so the drivers just need to get to the end to score the best points possible. Of course, both McLarens have pitted early. They want to go quite long, I imagine, to try and get the best track position possible, to try and recover points from their qualifying position. But this is where the main battle is at the moment. Pace is just ever so slightly pulling that gap on Tesco. I think Tesco's actually just fallen out of DRS. I think he had a moment there in the chicane, puts him almost at risk from his teammate. As those medium tyres are just starting to die here. So FatBoySim will get a lovely dose of DRS to defend from Pace here. So we'll see how he goes. Pace doesn't have to worry about Tesco behind. I wonder if FatBoySim is going to pit very soon. We saw FatBoySim just having a look in the mirror, and FatBoySim pits. So he's in the pits. He's put on the medium tyres. Tesco is also in the pits as Kev also picks up a 3-second time penalty. He stays out. So we will see how they go. Arwen there moves up to P4. Let's see if he can make his way up to the back of Kev. So Pace and Rob on the hard tyres. These are the lead drivers on the alternate strategy at the moment. Arwen and Musty are not that far away, to be honest. So having a look at where FatBoySim is going to come out here, he's going to come out well ahead of the McLarens. Of course, he puts himself behind Baz. So FatBoySim is the lead of the pit cars at the moment. Bosch picks up a 3-second time penalty as Skarma goes into the pits as well. As we say, time penalty is definitely going to be a contributing factor here. So Kev is the only medium tyre runner not to pit. He's probably going to pit this lap, I would imagine. This is the battle to look out for at the moment, is Pace and Rob. See if they're going to compete for what could be a chance for the race lead. So Tesco is just behind FatBoySim, out of DRS range, but obviously both have to navigate traffic together. Baz has picked up a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well. We'll see if Pace is going to be able to make a move or if he's just going to sit behind Rob here. Both drivers know how difficult it is to be the lead car, so we'll see if they swap or if they stick behind as well. Kev has got into the pits, so Kev is in the pits, last of the runners to go. We'll see how he gets on. FatBoySim navigating traffic there pretty well, just extending his gap on Tesco as well, who still has the gap over Chiv and Lucalis. So Skarma came out behind the McLarens there. Interesting, so their undercut worked pretty well. Bosch has come out, FatBoySim is just having to deal with the traffic of Bosch there. Baz still just behind, which is actually going to tow Tesco along ever so slightly. So Kev is going to come out of the pits. Actually, quite a competitive position there. He's come out just ahead of the McLarens. Look at that. The McLarens have made their undercut work pretty well to bring themselves right up to the fight field. That would be P5 usually. So we'll see how they get on. Tesco is just having to navigate with dealing with Baz just in traffic. FatBoySim is going to make the overtake on Bosch there, as we see Tesco, is he going to go down the inside of the Williams driver? He does make the move down the inside of the Williams driver. And he's still behind, still not in the DRS for FatBoySim. FatBoySim has navigated the traffic pretty well. Skarma is another driver to pick up time penalties here, as Pace makes the pass on Rob. We just caught that, the very end of that there, but Rob is going to have another look back at it here, but Pace is going to get a dose of DRS. So is Rob going to make a move down the inside? Pace is able to defend it, and we've had a new race leader. This is our fourth race leader of the race. So Pace moves himself up to P1. Chiv makes the pass on Kev there. That is going to be for position. But is Kev going to have a chance to go again? I don't think he has the DRS. He doesn't. But Lucalis, is he going to make a move on the Mercedes driver there? The Mercedes driver is a sitting duck here. He defends from the McLaren driver. And Kev is in an absolute McLaren sandwich right now. So we'll see how that goes. Rob is going to be right on the back of Pace there. He is not going to want to give up that position. He's going to absolutely fight for that back. These two drivers very good at recharging their battery. They will run out for just a couple more laps before they have to pit. Tesco there. Oh, excuse me. I missed that. Tesco has picked up a 10-second time penalty. That must be for speeding in the pit lane. It never showed up at the top of my screen there, probably because of something else. So Tesco is in a terrible position. We see Rob here make the pass on Pace, and Rob is back into the race lead. These two are probably going to swap just for a few more laps more until they have to go to pit and see who pulls the trigger first. But Tesco has put himself out of the contention for the lead. I didn't see it when he pit, but he must have been speeding in the pit lane. So that puts FatBoySim in a brilliant position here to compete for his third race win of the season. Tesco there goes up the inside of Bosch there. So Tesco making the moves. He is trying to get as close as he can to FatBoySim to do what he can. Chiv has been passed by Kev in the back there. Skarma is very close to the back of Lucalis, sets the fastest lap for good measure as well. Wasn't able to make the move. A lot of battles going on here. FatBoySim has made his way past the Williams driver and will try and... He's in clean air now, as Arwen, Musty, Pace and Rob are still yet to pit. These two front drivers just sort of, leading their way around. Like a Skarma who's going around the outside of Lucalis there. My goodness, what a move that would have been from the V-Carb driver there. Lucalis is just going to snag DRS off of his teammate as Chiv is still fighting with Kev, but Skarma is hassling the back of that McLaren driver. Tesco is going to make his way past the Williams driver in just a few moments. I think he's going to do it at the end of this hairpin, I believe. So that's going to be one to watch as he is then going to try. He does make the move on the hairpin. So Tesco now is going to try and make his way back up to the Ferrari driver and see what he can do. So look how close the Williams driver is here. Is he going to try and fight his way back? Tesco does get a dose of DRS for good measure, so he won't be able to fight that one back. Arwen there is in the pits. So Arwen and Musty are in the pits on the hard tyre. Interesting. So they're going to put on the mediums. And I think they've put it on just a bit early, in my opinion. So having a look here at Skarma. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? He isn't. Chiv right at the back of Kev there. And this sort of train continues. Skarma is just biting at the back of that McLaren car. Says, I want to get past. I want to be able to fight. Arwen has come out just behind this battle and in DRS range. Musty is just ever so slightly behind. So these drivers have been undercut by Chiv, Luke, and Skarma, but they're on the better medium tyres. But are they going to take too long? Is the medium tyre going to be... Is it going to last to the end? I'm not sure if it will, you know. So, we'll keep an eye on how that is going. Bosch is very close to the back of Devereaux. We could see a move there for one of the hard tyre runners. Pace still tugging onto the back of Rob as these two sort of tow each other along. I tell you what, Pace is actually really close to the back of Rob, but didn't make the move. Is he going to be able to make the pass? Going into T1. Pace here is going to go down the inside of the Aston Martin driver, and we've had another change for the lead again. Pace in the V-Cab up to P1, both fighting to be the lead car on the alternate strategy. Kev there is... where is he now? So he is ahead of Baz, makes the pass. Bosch there is going side by side with the Williams driver. He's going to go around the outside. Tesco set the fastest lap there. The Williams driver defends the inside. Oh, that's so close. Bosch is going to get the more favourable line here, and he makes the pass happen. Bosch moves up to P5 as it stands, but obviously still yet to pit. So I just want to see here, Lucalis also makes the pass on Baz as well. But looking at Skarma here, yeah, so Lucalis made the pass on Baz. Skarma still has to clear him, but Arwen is now fighting on the back of Skarma. Musty on the back of them in the same way that Skarma was biting on the back of Lucalis there. So Skarma's going to go around the outside of the Williams driver. I think this is a great angle here as you see both cars navigating their way through the traffic. Arwen backs out of it. Does he? Oh, the Williams driver goes ever so slightly away. The Alpine driver sneaks up the inside of the pair of them. And Musty says, thank you very much. They're 3 wide going down to the hairpin. Arwen looks to try and take the position back, sends it up the inside. They're almost being pushed off the track. Arwen says, no, get out there. I want to be the lead medium runner here. And this battle is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Musty doesn't get DRS though. Arwen made the pass and got the DRS. So Kev has made a pass for Bosch there. There's a big drama there. That's Devereaux and Kev, I think that is, who's down. Yeah, so Kev is out, Devereaux is out, and Bosch. There's a 3-car incident down there. Are they going 3 wide into the Wall of Champions? Surely not. No safety car. Bosch's wing is fine, Kev's wing is fine, and Devereaux's wing is fine. But 3 drivers there were all sort of line astern, facing the wrong direction. Both McLarens move up to P5 and P6 will be net P3 and P6, obviously, with Rob and Pace still yet to pit. I expect those drivers to pit very soon. At some point, Rob remade the pass on the V-Car, but we were looking at the other battles. So he's now back in the lead. Kev makes the pass on Bosch there. Going down into that corner there. Musty and Arwen are still fighting it out. Skarma is very close to the back of that McLaren driver. Skarma decides not to go down inside of the hairpin. Rob pits. He's the first of the the first of him and Pace to pit, I should say. So we will see. We will see where he comes out. Pace obviously has to extend now and see. Hopefully, isn't undercut by Rob. We'll keep an eye on that as it goes. Tesco there. Is actually in the DRS, excuse me. Tesco has been hurtling in laps as it stands. He's in the DRS of FatBoySim. He's very close. Rob there is going to come out. Where is he going to come out? He comes out in clean air ahead of the McLarens. FatBoySim picks up another 3-second time penalty. So Tesco now is in a position where if he can get ahead of FatBoySim and pull 4 seconds on him, then the penalties even out. Obviously, Rob, though, and the fresh medium tyres, it's not carrying any penalties. So we'll see what happens there. Bosch is now in the pits, so we'll check in on that. Lucalis still defending from Skarma, still defending from Arwen. This battle has been going on for, I cannot imagine how many laps now. I expect Pace to pit very, very soon. And I want to see if he's going to come out behind Rob here. Musty, is he going to go up down the inside of the hairpin, or is he going to wait for the DRS zone? Bit of contact there as he just sort of deals with his braking. Pace stays out. Pace extends. Interesting. So Pace stays out on the hard tyres, knows that he won't be able to come out ahead of Rob, so we'll see if he's just going to extend and then try and fight back on the better medium, fresher medium tyres even. So, right, Tesco is, I think, going to be able to make a move. He's got down the inside of FatBoySim right into turn 1. We just caught the end of it there. So, Tesco makes the pass on the Ferrari driver, came out in outside of DRS, clawed his way back up. It's been a throwing in fastest lap after fastest lap. He is going to have to make his way up. So this is a battle to watch out for here. And look at it, he's almost pulling a gap on the Ferrari driver. The Mercedes driver is absolutely flying on those hard tyres. He might even break DRS by the end of the lap. That would be remarkable. So he's got to pull a gap on FatBoySim, but obviously it's got a mountain to climb to deal with Rob. That would be insane if he can win with a 10-second time penalty. Lucalis there still defending. The Chiv leading this absolute train of cars here. Skarma and Musty obviously carrying penalties as it stands. So we'll have a look. Skarma is just thinking about the inside and decides not to go for it. Not a lot doing there. So FatBoySim did keep the DRS, so we'll see how those two tow each other along, maybe tow themselves away from Rob. Pace is in the pits. So Pace boxes on lap 22, gets off the hard tyres, puts on the medium tyres. You can see Rob rounding the chicane now. So Rob is probably going to make the pass on Pace here. There goes Rob, as Pace can get off of the pit limiter now. He's obviously got a straight run to this corner here, but Rob is going to make the pass. Is Pace going to come out ahead of the McLaren drivers? He does, but Pace there is, what is that? He's 2 seconds behind Rob with work to do. So, a recount as it stands. Tesco is our lead driver at the moment, but is carrying a 10-second time penalty. FatBoySim behind him, carrying 6 seconds of time penalties. These two are the lead cars at the moment on the hard tyre. Rob there is on the medium tyre, 4 seconds behind. Pace 2 seconds behind him in P4. Chiv, the McLaren driver, has made his way up to P3 there. Lucalis there. So that was, what, P13 to P5 from Chiv, and then P16 to P6 from Lucalis. But obviously they're on the oldest tyres on the grid. Arwen there is up in P7. He's got Musty, who's actually made the pass on Skarma, excuse me. So Musty made the move there. He's carrying 9 seconds of penalties. Skarma's carrying an impressive 15 seconds of time penalties in the V-carb as well. Kev has fallen down there to P10. He was involved in an incident. Dale also had an incident at some point. He's up into P11 as Musty makes the move on Arwen down into the World of Champions there. Devereaux there is in P12, Baz in P13, and Bosch, who was also in an incident, as was Devereaux, excuse me, in P14. Mr. Seedy unfortunately crashed out, and Chubby Slug also retired as well. So Lucalis has pitted. They're on the oldest hard tyres at the moment, with the exception of Devereaux, excuse me, who actually hasn't pit yet, as he goes into the pits now. So Dale had an incident. He pitted. Chiv and Lucalis pitted early. So they're on the oldest tyres on the grid. As we see Bosch here looking to make a move on Baz. As he goes, looks like, is he going to go on the inside? He is going to inside, a bit of contact, but Bosch looks like he's made the move happen on the Williams driver. Baz is going to try and fight this back. Bosch, oh, he looks like he just, it was like a throttle issue or something there, and Baz makes his way back through. Interesting, right? So that's one to watch. So at the top, FatBoySim, still behind Tesco, knows that he doesn't really need to make the pass, but I don't think he's going to have a choice but to go around the outside. And FatBoySim makes the move into the World Champions. Rob has pulled, I think that's about 2 seconds on those drivers there. Rob, obviously, not carrying any penalties, in a really, really good position to win this race. I want to get the penalties back up here. Yeah, so FatBoySim and Tesco is one to watch. Pace is still maintaining his gap away. Lucalis has clean air behind him, with the battles between Musty and Arwen at the moment, choosing not to overtake his teammate. Both McLarens working very well together. And then there's been this absolute dogfight between Musty, Arwen, and Skarma, carrying a lot of penalties each. The McLarens know that they're in a very good position for a good recovery here if they can keep it very... Look at that, 8 positions gained from Chiv, 10 from Lucalis as well. So we'll see how this battle emerges as it goes through. Musty there is just getting himself right back into the DRS of the McLaren. So this battle isn't quite over. Arwen sticking behind him here. FatBoySim has almost pulled the gap on Tesco, who will put himself at risk from Rob there. Pace just sitting behind as well. None of these drivers carrying any penalties, of course. So we'll see how this train of cars goes. Is Musty able? I think, was he close enough to get DRS there? He wasn't. Musty is going to be right under pressure from the Red Bull here. Is Arwen going to be able to make the move? As we see both McLaren drivers, actually the McLaren drivers look like they're going to swap positions here, potentially. So Arwen, is he going to look down the outside of Musty? Decides not to. I don't think the McLaren McLaren driver swap positions there. I think they would just go in side by side. So, oh no, Lucas did. They did swap positions, excuse me. So, Lucas up to P5. Tesco has remade the pass on FatBoySim at the top of your screen while we're watching this as well. Alwyn, is he going to go side by side with the Alpine driver? Not a lot of room doing there. Musty is going to lead going into the hairpin here. So, very exciting battle. Obviously, the one at the top is to look out for, but Rob and Pace are just going to get that much closer together. Rob in an extraordinarily good position here to win the race, unless he starts picking up a lot of time penalties. But this is the battle to watch. Look at Skarma. Look how close he is. He's going around the outside of Arwen, decides against it. Oh, and Arwen, look at Arwen dipping a wheel into the grass there. He's putting himself slightly under pressure from Skarma, but I think he used a bit of battery to boost away. Rob is very close to getting into the DRS of Tesco and FatBoySim, so we'll watch how that goes. But obviously, we'll have to see how those medium tyres last. Skarma's going to get a brilliant view of these cars here. Look, I mean, two McLarens, the Alpine, the V-Carbon, the Red Bull have all been separated by about a second and a half as they all snake their way through. Musty is getting ever so closer to the back of Chiv here, so they are back at the DRS. We'll see if he decides to make the move. Obviously, he knows he's carrying penalties, but he will also know that he's on the medium tyres and the McLarens are on the older hards. So, one to watch here. I think he'll pulling 12 seconds would be mighty impressive at 8 laps, but we don't know how the tyres are going to fall off. But this is the main battle at the moment. Rob is just not quite in the DRS of FatBoySim. FatBoySim very close to the back of Tesco, but Pace is very close to the back of Rob as well. So this is going to be a big battle between Rob and Pace for what will be the win of this race. Definitely one to look, and they are just hooking on to the DRS. Excuse me, as they go into the hairpin. Pace is just ever so slightly not in range to be on with the DRS of Rob. Don't think Rob got DRS either. So, there's an incident gone right up at the deck there. Musty has had a spin. So Musty, and who is that? Is that Dale? No, that's Arwen. Musty and Arwen have come together. Musty picking up a 10-second time penalty for good measure as well. So something happened there. One to watch. Rob did not get sort of in the DRS, but Pace has pulled right into the DRS of Rob. So, big drama between, what was that, Arwen and Musty, who've just both rejoined. Musty now carrying 25 seconds of time penalties. Arwen carrying 13. And Musty picked up an instant 10-second time penalty for good measure. These medium runners are getting very close to the back of these drivers. Arwen has retired in the pits. So Arwen has retired. I don't know what happened between them. Bosch, I think, is going into the pits as well. I missed the incident. I just caught it at the bottom of my screen and saw the time penalty happen as well. Dale has come out of the pits. He's had to pit. So I don't know if he picked up any sort of wing damage. Rob is right back on the back of these sort of three here. Pace is also going to get DRS, and this is about to get very interesting indeed. FatBoySim is right on the back of Tesco. He's going to go around the outside again into the Wall of Champions, makes the pass happen. Musty also retires in the pits, so... Excuse me, I've gone the wrong way there. So Tesco has been passed by FatBoySim. Is he going to have another look down the inside? He isn't. So... to recount, FatBoySim is now in the lead of Tesco. Oh, there's a yellow flag there. Who's that? Was that Devereaux? No, where is that? Oh no, that's Musty. Excuse me. So Musty has retired. We saw him retire in the pits, I think it was. So Tesco is behind FatBoySim, both drivers carrying penalties. Rob and Pace are behind both of them as well, not carrying any penalties. So if it stays as it is, Rob will win the race. Whoever crosses the line first between Rob and Pace will win this race. This is the big fight at the moment. Which of these two drivers will cross the line behind FatBoySim and Tesco, obviously two carrying any penalties? If Rob or Pace pick up any time penalties, that will make it very interesting indeed. Rob looking for a race win to extend his lead. Pace looking for his first race win after he won the sprint in Portugal. Very, very exciting indeed. These two drivers at the top are just having a brilliant battle, aren't they? Bosch has just come out of the pits now as well. Devereaux, another driver to pick up it was the first 3-second time penalty for Devereaux. Skarma's up to 21 seconds as Tesco makes the pass there. So Tesco's made the pass on FatBoySim. I was just looking at the time penalties there. So these two drivers swap again. Rob is just that much closer. Rob knows that he doesn't have to overtake them. He just needs to be ahead of Pace. So, Chiv, is he going to make the move on his teammate here? Chiv decides not to go down the inside. Skarma is in the back of that battle, but obviously is carrying many penalties indeed. Pace on the back of Rob. Now, these two have fought with each other before, and Rob, I think it was last race actually, Rob had an incident where he spun on the curb that let Pace past him, so he's not going to want a repeat of that. The flip side is Rob knows if he can get in between Tesco and FatBoySim, then it puts a buffer between him and Pace. So we will see how this goes on here, but this is the battle to look forward to. In fact, I think Rob might decide to do exactly that. Pace is going to have a cutback though, and Pace and Rob are nearly going to be side by side. FatBoySim, I think, was a bit slow there. Pace is right under the gearbox of the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin is going to get DRS though. Is he going to have to make the pass on FatBoySim? FatBoySim goes to defensive. Pace, is he going to go around the outside through the wall of champions? Rob defends the position, and Rob will keep it ahead of Pace. Tesco picks up a 3-second time penalty, his first of the race, and Rob defends from Pace as it stands. So, that was the first fire of the gun from Pace there. Is he going to be able to go again, or is Rob going to be able to defend? Chiv and Lucullus, swap positions on the pit straight there. Both McLaren drivers doing very well, just falling off of this at the moment. In fact, they're actually going to finish behind Tesco as things stand. Look how close Pace is to the back of Rob there. So, VCAP driver needs to bide his time. Could very well wait for the last lap to make a move. This is going to be mighty exciting. So, both, as I said before earlier in this race, both drivers very good at recharging their battery. I'm just going to take off the thing here as we look. Rob, just sitting on the back of FatBoySim. Is Rob going to try and make a move and get in between that battle to try and give himself a buffer? Or is he going to continue to try and defend? Pace gets a good launch, or looking to get a good launch out of the hairpin there. But Tesco leads forward. FatBoySim, Rob, and Pace will all get a dose of DRS. FatBoySim going defensive as they defend into the Wall of Champions. And it's as you were. And I suspect it may end this way. We'll have to see. It's entirely going to depend on whether the hards fall off or whether the mediums fall off. A quick check here. More time penalties going up and down the grid, but no real change for position. Lucullus has actually picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is why he's probably sitting behind Chiv as it stands. So, what do we watch? Oh, it's a big snap for FatBoySim there. The hard tyres maybe just starting to come into play. Rob looks very slightly defensive against Pace there. Pace is that much quicker through Sector 2 than Rob there, but Rob is able to defend as they go through. Those medium tyres are going to start to scream ever so slightly. Pace, is he going to look to have a move around the outside of Rob here? Is he going to back out of it? He decides not to go for it, but he's that much closer to the Aston Martin driver. Pace is very hungry for his potential first win in P0. So we'll see as they navigate their way down to the hairpin. Is he going down the inside of the pair of the Pace with a slight spin? But Pace there has gone from P4 to P1, but he does give the position back as I think he massively outbroke himself there. The right thing to do from Pace there, avoids the penalty, but Rob there is just going to have to sit behind them, and it continues as you were. Pace there being the gentleman and not defending that position. Knows that he was, sent it too deep into the hairpin, and it continues as you were. Just another look here and see no change as it stands. Skarma obviously very close to Luke. In fact, Skarma is going to make a move on Luke down the inside. Is he? Surely not here. Skarma decides to back out of it, knowing how many penalties he's carrying. Big gaps up and down the rest of the field. Pace has gone right back under the back of the Aston Martin, and it's 3 more laps of this battle. Who is going to be the lead driver of these two to cross the line and win the race? Tesco and FatBoySim, carrying too many penalties, will still come out ahead of both the McLaren drivers, I think, as it stands, unless Chiv can get that much closer. So, as we see here, both McLarens and Skarma have done very well. I don't know where Skarma's going to finish given his penalties. I know Dale is quite a ways away, but I want to watch this as well. Rob, I tell you what, it's actually that much closer to the back of FatBoySim. Is he going to make a move? I think FatBoySim is just going to go ever so slightly defensive. And we continue on. I'm just going to keep on board with Pace here because he probably gives us the best view of this train going through. Tesco, FatBoySim, Rob, and Pace. As you were, 2 more laps to go. Lap 34 of 35. Tesco, FatBoySim, one of these will finish. I think it'll be FatBoySim on the podium if my math is correct. Rob in P3, Pace in P4 on track right now, but whichever one of these two lead cars crosses the line first will win the race given the penalties, unless one of them picks up a time penalty in the last 2 laps. We'll see. Lucullus did actually swap with Chiv there in the end. Obviously, he's carrying his penalty, so he'll finish behind Chiv. Not that it matters too much. So, as they round the hairpin for the penultimate time, we will watch and see what these drivers do. Pace knows if he's going to have to make a move, he's going to have to do it in an unpredictable location, as Rob is an expert defender here. Rob could actually very well try and make the pass on FatBoySim. No, he decides to stick behind them as well. They round the wall of champions. FatBoySim picks up another 3-second time penalty for good measure as they cross the line. As it stands, so this is the final lap of the race. Rob defends. Pace goes down the inside. Pace is going to pick up a 3-second time penalty, and that has decided that outbrake himself, unfortunately, into the turn 1 there. Picked up a 3-second time penalty, gave the position back, but that is going to be music to Rob's ears. In a race where he was the lone Aston Martin driver, he will come home and score what will be P1 short of an absolute disaster. In a race where both McLarens have done very, very, very well to recover. Rob has done everything that he can and more. Tesco, obviously, got pole position here, has looked to defend very well, but unfortunately picked up a 10-second time penalty, either for a corner cut or for speeding in the pit lane. I wasn't able to see it. But the crowd will look at the Aston Martin driver here, Rob, who is looking for his record-breaking 3rd P0 championship, looks for another race win as he rounds the final 2 corners here. Rob Wills and the Aston Martin will win the Canadian Grand Prix. Pace will come home for P2. FatBoySim on the podium. Tesco down to P4. And a long way back, we look at the McLaren drivers. Chiv will come home for P5. Lucullus will come home for P6 as well. Skarma comes home at P7, but we'll see what his actual finishing position is given his penalties. Kev will cross the line next in P8, which will jump Skarma there. And Dale 30 seconds behind, so Skarma will definitely finish in P8. Baz is very close to the back of Dale, but obviously is carrying a little bit extra penalties. His teammate Devereaux there, however, will jump Baz as long as he stays within the 3-second window, and then Bosch will round us around in P12. So, a dramatic qualifying, a dramatic race here. Rob is back on the top step of the podium. As we just see, Dale cross the line there. Baz, has Devereaux done enough to jump his teammate? Oh, right at the death. Devereaux by 2/100ths just finishes slightly behind his teammate. Very unfortunate from him there, but up to P11. Well done, all. Some brilliant stuff there. I have neglected to give him driver of the day for the last 2 races for his recovery. I think Chiv has done a brilliant job, but I will give my driver of the day to Lucullus. Was an issue with the game, a slight misunderstanding, an issue in qualifying, whatever you want to call it, put him P16 on the grid, and he recovered his way all the way up. It's the 3rd race in a row he's had to do it, and I will give him driver of the day this time. But plaudits to Chiv as well. Both McLarens have done a brilliant job recovering up to their position. So very well done to them, and will be brilliant in their fight for the constructors. But yes, Rob is the one to applaud today. Pace as well did everything he could and more. We saw 2 incidents of Pace going deep on the brakes, was desperate to get that first win, and it just didn't creak over the line. FatBoySim will come home in a tidy P3. Tesco will come home in P4. Well, what a race. What a qualifying and what a race. So well done, everybody. 4 retirements in the end there. Lots of incidents. We saw there was a 3-car incident at one point, wasn't it? Between Dale, I think it was Dale, Devereaux, and Bosch, and then it was Musty and Arwen. I think Kev at some point had an incident. All sorts going on there. So, very well done. I will love you all and leave you for that Canadian Grand Prix. We're back next week for Austria. Austria is always a brilliant race. It's a sprint weekend as well, so extra chance for drivers to pick up points. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you all next Sunday.